And we saw Barnaby Joyce, of course, too, before Julie Bishop, and his approach a bit more rustic than anyone else's, you could say. And he called the Labor Green Alliance that they're trying to concoct as, you know, what you need to be worried about, the Glee Club being reformed.
That go down a treat with the home audience.
Yeah, it's one of those things, too, that I think that people misunderstand when it comes to Barnaby Joyce. There's a tendency for some to sneer at the way that he delivers his lines. He is remarkably popular in regional Australia, but has been hamstrung a little in this election campaign, Greg, because he's fighting such a desperate battle in New England, his own seat.
Yes, so difficulties at home. Just on the speech today, though, I was having trouble deciding there because we'll give away a trade secret. Most of the speakers there were operating off auto cue today, being the reflective panels in front of them. I couldn't quite decide whether Barnaby Joyce was scripted or off the cuff, because he is hard to tell. He's rustic, to use your description, Chris. But look, on the New England competition, you talk to the Nats. Again, it's our job to disaggregate spin from honesty. They will tell you at every turn that they think he's comfortably ahead. Now, we have no way of knowing that, but I think what we've seen in the back half of the campaign is he has been away from home less. He ventured out a little more on the Wombat Trail early. He's still doing that, sure he is, but I don't think quite as much as we saw in the opening days. Yeah, not sure what that tells us, by the way, but that's a pattern that I've observed as we watch all our material coming in each day.
Yeah, and one of the things that you have to remember too is that the real threat to people, even on big margins, and Barnaby Joyce is a good example of it in New England, is with a popular independent. All that independent has to do is come second to Barnaby Joyce in order then to start to gathering preferences, because, you know, a Conservative candidate can plug on about 48 or even 49% of the vote and be passed by someone who gathers up everyone else's preferences. We've seen that before. We certainly saw it happening in Indi, in Victoria, and that's the threat that the Greens, in fact, pose to the Labor Party in those inner city seats, is that they don't have to get terribly close, they just have to come second.
And the Greens, even in New England, they're not going to get a large vote. I don't even know what it was in 2013, but you can imagine that nearly all of it probably will transfer over to Tony Windsor. Labor, they're in there as well with preferences. So that's where it becomes tight, and probably where it's unpredictable. When we ask National Party people how it's looking, they probably don't know, to be honest, which way they break on those all-important